everyone, I just wanted to show you this email I got from Tracy, who submitted this soap to me via email, and I just thought it was really gorgeous and I wanted to share it. Every once in a while I get some really cool pictures and I'm going to try to share them. It's kind of hard for me to figure out how to put it in and record at the same time, but thank you, Tracy, for this beautiful picture. Hi everyone, this is Anna from Koala Soap, and today I'm going to be trying a new design for a holiday soap. I've never really done it before. I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm just not going to learn how to do it unless I just start trying to do it. And then we'll see if it's a success or if we need to try to do it again and make some changes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the embeds. And I have the basic pink mold that everyone has seen. I believe each of these cavities holds about 3.5 ounces. I'm going to just try to fill as many of these as possible because I really don't know how much soap I'm going to need for the embeds to fill this and do the actual decoration. So we're just going to start with this first. I'm going to have to add the fragrance to this shea butter melt and pour base because I can't add it to the crystal clear base that we're going to do here because it'll cloud up the soap. So everything's going to be added into here. I will be using our holiday mica colors for me anyway. It'll be teal green and I believe red strawberry. I can't get to my other fragrances because the kids are asleep and I don't want to wake them up. It doesn't matter. We're doing a holiday. It's going to be peppermint today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's melt this down. Okay, we are back. So we've gone ahead and we've melted it down. I thought I felt a clump in there, but I must have been mistaken or just melted down completely. Okay, we're at 150. So we're at a good point. So we're going to go ahead and add our peppermint. And this is, I'm using over a pound of soap, so I'm going to use 5 ml. So each of these is 3, so that's 1.5. I couldn't fill it completely, so that's why I did it a few times there, but approximately 5 cc's or mLs are added in, and we're going to keep this white. And we're just going to pour into the mold. Now it's very important that when you're doing embeds, especially if you're using different bases like a honey base or, you know, you're not sticking to the same base, the one thing you need to remember when you're doing embeds is that everyone has this point where it melts at a certain temperature. And I've noticed that when I use a different opaque base other than the shea butter, I know the shea butter quite well. I can tell when it's gonna when I can add things to it and when I can't. The issue is when you're doing a clear onto the embeds, it's very important that you make sure your embeds are completely cooled down, because if they're not, let's say that they're warm in the middle, but the outside feels fine, when you add the clear on top of it, it will start to melt your embed. So I used to be really quick and want to go ahead and take care of the embeds and then pour, you know, get everything done, make sure the crystal clear was at a certain low temp, like below 130, 135, and I pour. And I had a soap I was trying to do for you guys on Easter last year, and all the embeds, all the eggs just melted. It was just heartbreaking because it was a lot of work. So I've kind of just learned to be more patient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually let these set, and I will come back when I'm sure that they're nice and cool. You can put them in the refrigerator, but whatever you do, just make sure that these cool down nicely before you're going to start adding anything onto it. Okay, and we are back. So these have actually been setting for several hours just because I couldn't get right back to them. And so they smell great. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be kind of using this as a measurement. I honestly don't know how much soap I'm going to need. So what I do is these are like really inexpensive cutters that I got off of Amazon. Links to everything are below. I wasn't sure how I wanted these to cut. I don't think I want curlicues. What I do want is just some nice embeds. So I'm going to be cutting all of these up until I get this almost full, and then we're going to go ahead and melt our clear melt and pour and get our design going. Okay, so I really only used like not even really two, because there's part of one here. I want to show you something neat though. I was able to, while I was cutting, can you see that? I liked how it kind of, if you go diagonally, it kind of does a really nice little curl that's not like a round curl. It's kind of like I guess a swivel would be the perfect word. So you would go sideways, and there you go. I think we have enough. Again, I honestly don't know if this is going to work. This is scented with peppermint, so the next soap that I make is going to use these, and they will also be scented with peppermint, so we can use the rest of this up. So we're going to go ahead and melt our crystal clear melt and pour. We're going to do one color first, and then we'll do the next color, because I don't know how much soap this is going to take. So we will be back. Okay, we're back. We have our first, it's crystal clear melt and pour from Crafter's Choice, and the link is down below. I'm going to go ahead, and there's a little unmelted piece there. I don't want to overheat this because I don't want it to lose its clarity. So I'm going to just be very careful because I'm going to be using this more than once. We are at 159, and I'm not adding any fragrance to it, so I'm not concerned about that temperature. It's fine because I still have to prep. So for this, I'm not going to use a lot of mica at all. I want it to be fairly see-through. I guess we'll start with green. We're going to be using tail green, and we're just going to use a little bit. Okay. I just want it to be a little green. I want to make sure that we can see those embeds that we did. And I put them all in this funnel cup here. So we'll go ahead and add it in. And I wasn't sure if I was going to put the embeds in first and then pour on top of it, or put this in first and then add embeds. And I've decided, because I'm going to be doing layers, I'm going to actually put the green in first. That way I can test it to see when it's ready for me to add the other color, which will be the red strawberry. Okay, so we are mixed. Just out of curiosity, let's see what temp we're at before we pour. So 151. I'm going to go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wait for this to get down into the 130s. That way I can just kind of add the embeds right into there. I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to let this come down into the 130s, because I'm worried that if I put it in here, it'll cool down too fast because this is cold, and I'll start to get skin, and then I won't be able to put the embeds in as smoothly. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait till our temperature's a little lower. We'll be back. Okay, we are developing a little bit of the skin here. Let's see. Okay, 131. So we are going to go ahead. We are going to pour a layer. I think that's good. We're going to squirt this with alcohol, but we're also going to squirt these with alcohol. And we're going to drop them in. I'm going to try to keep them just the way they are as far as their swirls and stuff go. This will be easier because then I'll know when I can pour the second layer. So I'm glad I did it this way. I would highly recommend you do it this way. Now, if you don't have one of those peelers like I was using on here, you can use a regular potato cutter as long as it doesn't have a guard on it. The guard kind of prohibits you from doing any of the swirls, I think. And I've only used the ones without the guard for that reason. So the next thing we're going to do is squirt this with alcohol. We're going to let this harden up a little bit, Then we are going to go ahead and we're going to melt this one down, and we're going to pour this at the same, at about in the 130s, right before it develops the skin. So if you don't have a thermometer, that's fine. Just make sure, if you have a skin and it's thickening up, you should be okay. I would highly recommend getting one of these though if you're going to be doing soaps with embeds, because you don't want them to melt in there. So we're going to go ahead, let this cool down, and then we'll get this melted down. Okay, so we just melted this down, and it's at 165. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add in just a little bit of the red strawberry, get it all mixed in, and then when this develops the skin, we're going to pour it on slowly using this spatula so we don't break through, and we're just going to repeat the same.